Hi everyone, welcome back to another stream. Hope we're all doing alright. Yeah, the sudden like jump scare drum roll. Hey, Drac. Oh yeah, I forgot the PSU did the white day lobbies. This is the private server, Krabby, yeah. So this is Clementine. Doing well, stream more Xenoblade, and now I stuff my face with the London Donna Calzone. How are you? I am pretty good. Yeah, not too bad at all, really. Hi, Draffia. Yeah, I think the PSU White Day lobby is one of the better ones. So yeah, today we are going to be playing some PSU because I realised I hadn't played it for like 3 months. I don't know how that happens, but I guess when there are so many Phantasy Star games, inevitably one of them gets left by the wayside, and that's kind of what happened with PSU. So I'm making that up today, and we are playing PSU today. Yeah, I saw you streaming a bit of Xenoblade Killing Off. I couldn't drop in today for the stream, but I saw you streaming it a couple of days ago. Hey, Chenton. I'm a PSU official content creator. I mean, if there was such a thing as a PSU official content creator, that would be a problem. We missed the Valentine's event. I mean, that sounds about right, doesn't it? We play PSO during weeks when nothing drops, and we play PSU whenever the events are finished. It's kind of how we do things here, apparently. Just wanted to play the game. Only played it once since launch. Okay. We played Scotch Valley Solo Ultimate version. And that kind of sounds like hell. Didn't manage to clear all the monsters, only the corrupt seed things. Okay. Was Scotch Valley the one that was based on like Operation Firebreak from the old PSU server event? I think so. I mean, it's obviously been a long time since I did it, but I think it was one where you have to like purify these like seed core things or something. Again, quite a long time. They also had Jewett under Sakura. I don't know if I did that one. The bank menu seems so small, assume it looks better on a big screen. Yeah, so basically I'm running this at like 2560 by 1440. With the standard size UI, it looks not great when it's all blown up in resolution. It looks very blurry. So basically, I don't really have a goal in PSU, honestly. The controller is freaking out. Just restarting. Oh, no worries, Drac. Oddly, my controller always seems to work fine for PSU. It was always PSO I had problems with. So yeah, we'll give it a couple of minutes, and then if anyone wants to join, they can. So we are just playing on the Clementine server, so anyone feel free to join. Hi, Blader. Plenty of people on Living It Large in PSU. How many people are on, actually? There are 95 people playing at the minute. PSU, my beloved. It's not bad really, yeah. I mean, considering that PSU is like, let's be nice. Let's say it's not the most popular PS game, to be fair. I think for it to have 95 people on a private server is pretty good going. HP bar is very tiny as well. Is this a UI for ants? Yeah, I can see it just about. It's a problem because if you use like the normal size UI, it looks terrible. Because I think the UI is kind of scaled for the resolution it used to be at. It is microscopic UI, it is. I can assure you that on my monitor it looks okay, I can see it. Yeah, I mean, I am using borderless gaming for it because PSU doesn't really like working very well full screen for me for some reason. And if you don't use borderless, it seems to be incredibly blurry. I think it's just a byproduct of the fact that the game was obviously designed to run at much lower resolution. So when you scale everything up to higher resolution, the UI doesn't look great. Yeah, exactly, yeah. I think the game looks fine. I mean, yes, the UI is small, playing like this, but for me, on my monitor at least, I can see it enough to see my health and everything, so it's fine. Designed for a 480i PS2 signal. Well, yeah, I mean, it was on PS2, wasn't it? So GT needs a magnifying glass. I must admit, on the OBS preview, it does look unreadable, but I can assure you that on my monitor, it looks fine. Yeah, I mean, some people find ways to minimize or get rid of the UI altogether, don't they? Nope, Drac can say it. Hi, Elite. It's the reason why Halo Classic's graphics look bad on PC. It was designed to work on an Xbox system. Yeah, I think it's just one downside of like upscaling all games. You do get that issue. You can't imagine watching this on a mobile device. It would be pretty rough going, I think, trying to see the UI. There's nothing interesting in the UI anyway, to be fair. Clementine would crash if you clicked on a second monitor. Yeah, I mean, it does have some problems for some people. It's always been pretty good for me. For cosmetic stuff, did PSU let you change outfits, or were you stuck in one unless you go to a dressing room? You can change outfits, but you can only do it in certain places. So you can only change outfits in either dressing rooms, or there are some... You can change your clothes shops, obviously, and there are some like hidden dressing rooms in some of the lobbies as well. Full screen, the game crashes on Alt-Tab. Yeah, I think I had that problem as well, actually, on full screen. That might be why I use borderless window. It has been a weekend. Oh, hope things are okay. So I guess for now, I guess we can just run some high-ish level stuff. My knowledge of PSU is very sorely lacking. Do you have any idea what like the best quest at the minute to run is, Drac? Bear in mind, there's no event on. Is it just the usual? You lead and explore. Should we just pick anything? Yeah, it does seem to be a problem with old games, Draffy. I know there's quite a few games I've played before that you just can't alt-tab because of the crash. I don't know if Ultimate is 180. I mean, yeah, we can check that. Do we have to go to Ultimate Lobby for Ultimate, or can we do it from here? I'm guessing we've got Ultimate Lobby. Try borderless window next time you get on. Yeah, the thing I use is there's an app on Steam you can get called Borderless Gaming. I already had it because I used it for Nier Automata as well, because Nier Automata also has a lot of problems with full screen. Alright, let's see, what have we got? It is 180 plus for Ultimate. We can do it. I'm going to get horribly murdered doing this, but we can technically do ultimate. Right, well, let's start it with unsafe passage because that was like the noob quest that you start the game with. So surely that'll be nice and easy. That should be easy enough. We'll see. The enemies are level 200 plus, so... Jesus Christ, bro, this UI. That's actually weird, yeah. In OBS, it does look tiny. I think because I'm using it on I've got quite a big monitor, so because on my monitor it looks fine. I will try and see if there's a way of sort of scaling the UI a bit. I don't know if there is. Hi, Picket. So I'm just going to leave the party open, and if anyone wants to join in, they can. Do we pronounce it ultimate or monument? Right, we're doing it. This is not going to go well. Like, at all. Well, serving one. Yeah, as long as you can see the actual gameplay, it's fine. But yeah, I will say that the UI does look tiny on OBS. I will assure you again that if you are playing it on... Good God, they're fast. If you are playing it on your monitor, it does look better. Like, I can read my health and everything fine. Everything is running like super speed. It kind of feels like anguish mode on a Finia. Yo, I'm Rambo. Hello, Rambo. So we are in the ultimate lobby at the minute, Pika. So they've lowered the ultimate level requirement to 180. It does look like the game is running at 200 times. I can see the UI fine, he says, while wearing glasses. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, if I took my glasses off, I wouldn't be able to see the screen. My eyesight is that bad. I'm incredibly short-sighted, so I would not be able to see a thing. Should do that next time I do a challenge stream. There should be an option on the wheel to make me do a run without my glasses, and it would be just awful. The only downside is I wouldn't be able to read chat, because I wouldn't be able to see that either. Yeah, so short-sighted for me means that I technically can see close things but can't see things that are far away. But I am very short-sighted, so I can only see like about that far in front of my face. You wear glasses and you still can't see what the UI says. Do you have any recommended PAs for each of the weapons in PSU? Honestly, I kind of feel like I'm so out of the loop with PSU that I'm probably not the person to give recommendations. I did play a lot on the Sega servers back in the day, but I don't know if a lot of the PAs have been tweaked on Clementine, and I think there is new PAs altogether as well, so I think even if you played the Sega version, it won't feel exactly the same. I just keep changing the photon art all the time. And just keep switching rounds until I find something that I like. The names are so long for Fortnite. Some of them are. Some of them aren't too bad. Super Grinder. Well, no idea what that is, but I'll take it. Makes a nice change to see some PSU. Yeah, I kind of realised that I hadn't played it in like several months. Oh, you're Seed Venus. I don't like that you're here. This guy was always like one of the hardest enemies in PSU. And he's in literally the first quest of the game now. Dude, slow down. Oh, cool. Pika's got in as well. Nice. He did have the zoomies. He did. What is this? Panon Cannon U+. I like that just because it's a Panon Cannon. Humans kind of got the shaft as soon as Cass can summon the Meg Gun, Beast can transform. Yeah, so in PSU, in the Sega servers anywhere, humans and humans were kind of screwed because they didn't have racial ability. They did change that in the portable games, so in PSP 2 and Infinity they got some racial abilities, but on Clementine they have made it so that humans and humans can use them as well. They basically have like their own versions of the cast SUVs. Again, just to balance things, because it was really unfair that humans and humans just didn't have one. I'm also noticing that pretty much everything is buffed. It's actually going better than I thought it would, though. And before I get killed instantly. Yeah, SUV for humans is a new thing, so... Again, if you play... I can't remember if it was in Phantasy Star Portable 2 or not. I think it was. But definitely in Infinity. They got a thing called Mirage Blasts. But in this, they've basically just given humans and humans the ability to use their own racial abilities. I mean, we're fine because we've got Rambo. Rambo's using a Nug 2000. That's cool. Yeah, Twitch is a bit overly sensitive on the on the filtering sometimes. Thank you for the 13-star airdrop. Yeah, occasionally we'll get Akilniath, you'll get it where Twitch will just filter a message or like hold it for review. I see the hydrate as well. I will do that in a minute. Well, I'm quite glad I'm not solo in this. The PAs in PSU uses a system where they're tied to weapons. You can't learn PAs. No, you can't. You do learn PAs in PSU. So if I got my weapons here, so this one for example, you can link a Fortnite to it and you can unlink it at any time. So you do have a limit on how many Fortnite you can learn. I believe it's about 36, somewhere around there. But you can, I think you can unlearn Fortnite as well and like change around what you want. Don't really know what hit me there, but oh, it's Nav. We do get a lot of money from this. The Mazetta drop's quite big. I'm glad they reduced the ultimate level requirement though. It used to be 190, so they've lowered it to 180. Someone just found an Excalibur apparently. Right, I'll get you hydrate while I can. I knew you were going to do that. The minute I put the glass down. You do always do that. I have noticed. Instance loop for the private server, I suspect, or was it always instance? So on the Sega server, yeah, on the private server, there was always a thing where you could basically adjust how the rare drops happen. So you could make it so it was give finder. So that would mean that anything you pick up, you got. You can make it so that it would give items, like rare items, to people in order. You could also do it so it would be a random pick every time a rare dropped as well. But on this server, it's just instanced, which I much prefer, honestly. Is there a dodge roll similar to how weapons have high hit in BB? I think in this, the main thing you're looking for is, aside from getting a good weapon in the first place, is the element. So in PSU, you're, well, for melee, I think it's just for melee weapons, you have an element tied to them. So you just want to hope for a high percent on the element, really. For firearms and for tech weapons, it's not as big a deal because for them, the element depends on whatever Fortnite you have equipped to them. So if you have, for example, Fire on a staff, then that rod will become fire element. I did see the weird Twitch banner, yeah. I did. And that would be why. It was really delayed that for some reason, so I think we got the banner saying that Proper Flopper had resubscribed. Thank you very much for the resub, by the way. But the actual pop-up for the subscription was really, really delayed. How's it going? Not too bad. Yeah, thanks again for the resub as well. Much appreciated. Yeah, the cut-ins are pretty cursed in PSU. This is kind of where it all started. So anyone that doesn't like the excessive cut-ins in NGS, you know, thank this game. Oh, House is here with his constant screaming. And his weird, freaky, stretchy limbs. He is basically Stretch Armstrong here. Well, he doesn't appear to have done much of anything yet. Like, he's just constantly stunned. And now he's dead. Okay, I have no idea what this is worth picking up. That is a photon drop. Picking that up. It was a big box. No idea what the rest is. But yeah, thanks again for that resub, Protoflopper. It is definitely a lot more fast-paced than PSO, yeah. I think PSU is quite a big evolution from PSO. I mean, it does keep some elements, but for sure, it has moved the game on quite a bit from PSO. Sky growing afro. Apparently I did, yeah. I seem to have spawned directly inside this guy. Which is very cursed. Nice to see you playing PSU. Yeah, I should probably do it more often. I think because I do so many different Phantasy Star games, I just totally forgot I haven't played PSU for so long. So we will do another run in a minute. It is really, really warm in here, so give me a second. Not allowed to have AC in the UK, so sad. It's kind of a weird thing in the UK where most residential properties just don't have AC. We live in the past. You can use your AP here for gas as well. I don't know if we can elemental change. Yeah, I have no idea. I forget what's in Clementine and what isn't. I've just realised actually that's actually quite cool that once you finish this quest, it just brings you back to the ultimate lobby. The emotes go hard, they really do. I think PSU was probably a much more social game than PSO. You had a lot more communication methods, really. You like the little wing logo on the side. Do I want to accept Shorty's partner card? Sure, you've got a 4-mile outfit, so I'll take it. Oh yeah, there is a little wing logo, yeah. It's kind of cool that Ultimate has its own lobby really with basically everything here. So it's all centralized. You got a twin sword. Very good. You can change the librarian you're in too. There's another mode. You can select the BGM for Ultimate Quest. Okay. That's actually pretty cool. We don't have to hear the Dark Sea Contamination BGM. What twin sword is it, Pika? Yeah, where do you actually change the BGM then, Drac? Because yeah, I don't really want to hear that that music. Previous stage was pretty intense. Is there a more mellow stage like a forest or some caves? There are plenty of stages like that. The funny thing is that mission that we did there, when you start the game, that is basically the first quest that you do, but this is the ultimate version, so the enemies are a lot harder. Delijanus U42 Lite. I can take a look at it and see what it's like compared to what I'm using. Only if you're not using it though. It's one of the terminals at the center, okay. So let's try and figure this out. So that is exchanges. There's a Visiphone. Item shop. GC counter. There's a lot of counters here. Offerings. Change clothes. If I remember correctly, how to use synth codes to get higher elements. I honestly can't remember. You love others people sitting social distance on the benches. They are, but you know, they're keeping it 2 meters apart. Element change should be in the GC counter, okay. You are the gas counter. Ah, enable jukebox BGM in mission. Do you remember 2020? I remember 2020. I do remember 2020. Urako Xbox 360. No, unfortunately, I was on PC, PS2. Yes, I'm not entirely sure how that counter works because it just seems to say swap lobby theme, which is not what I want. There is set jukebox BGM, but I don't want that to change the BGM in here. So I've got no idea how that works. It changes the next mission BGM. Let's see what we've got. And how many of these are like incredibly DMC? Yeah, quite a lot of these are probably ones that will get flagged. There's probably a few that I can get away with though. I'm sorry, but I know you probably can't see it because of the UI, but that. Was there ever any doubt? You know, as soon as I see Trick Track in a list, I'm picking it. Alright, let's start another quest. God, it's such a good theme, man. I'll never ever get tired of this. It's the Phantasy Star 2 fight music. It is the GOAT. Right, let's do... Since Krabby said, can we do something in a forest or something? Let's see. We could do... Oh, I mean, if we're doing the noob quests for PSU, unsafe passage, then you basically do Plains Overlord. So I guess we can do Plains Overlord. Why not? Oh, and it plays Trick Tracking. Oh, it's so good. So I almost died immediately. You know, these things do like nearly 2,000 damage a hit. Phantasy Star has beats to Hunt and Ryuga too. Your chat, your SectionSkyly. Hope everyone is well. Yeah, doing pretty good outside, yeah. Not too bad at all. Nice to play some PSU for a change. Not played it for a little while, so... Remember those things kept killing people on hardcore mode? I mean, I would have thought that if anything in this area is going to kill you at high level, it's probably these, because these had a habit of just jumping you from nowhere. Especially if they were the buffed ones. I am really happy that they've changed Ultimate to 180 plus though. Certainly gives me a lot more to do in PSU. I was kind of at this awkward point where I was like mid 180s and doing anything below Ultimate was not particularly interesting. But I was still locked out of Ultimate. The Sharks in Infinity do the exact same jump attack they do. I always like that in Infinity that they brought back some of the PSO enemies. I mean, I suppose PSU did it as well. You know, I think the expansion brought back boomers. Although they are really weird, creepy boomers. That don't particularly resemble PSO boomers. Still, could be worse. Could be the giant rappies. PS0 boomers are strange. I don't know if I've seen a boomer in PS0. Boobers. I mean, someone had to say it. Thank you for the 13-star red drop. Yeah, the jerpy looking rappies, yeah, the huge ones. I mean, NGS has kind of followed that up as well. I mean, I know PSO2 had the big Emperor rappies, but then NGS has kind of gone to another level with that and made absolutely ridiculously huge ones. Boomers in PS0 bonus spawns. Seen them once or twice, they're pretty rare. I mean, I suppose I don't play Zero a great deal, so it's probably no surprise I haven't seen them. I think I got a rappy room once. Imagine swapping the dragon to a giant rag rappy. I mean, there was literally a quest in NGS a few days ago where you fought a rappy the size of a building. And it was super strong as well. It would just roll over and just pretty much instant kill you. How big the rappy? It was a very, very big rappy. He sold a rappy arc suit in PSR2 for $25 to an American dude. Sir, can you please slow down? Thank you. Changed your old layer to a nano dragon and enveloped is now a Garans. To be honest, I think if enveloped was a Garans, it would be a harder fight. Because God knows enveloped's not hard. Hit those guys. Yeah, I would prefer it if they stayed still. I like that, Ellie. Yeah, so you go with all the ruins monsters for substituting for Dark Falls, but then you just change the final form to Mill Lily. Just to throw people off. I would play a more tech-focused class on this. I mean, I am technically a partially tech-focused class, but it just takes so long to level techs and everything in this. I just don't have the... I just really do not want to do it. You get a Megid and you get a Megid. Megid for everybody. It's really weird with Final Phase falls in PSO because there's a strange thing with it. It does do Megid. It's only when it's on... It's usually after it's stolen someone's soul. It'll do it. But for some reason, the Megid that it does in Ultimate is lower level than the one it does in Very Hard. I don't know if it's like... if they missed a digit when they were like coding it or something, but yeah, the Ultimate Megid is worse. Oh hey, these Varas are the fire ones, not the normal ones. Do you not have a mag, or is it set to invisible for you? So in PSU, you don't have mags as such. You have a thing called a partner machine, which for the most part just sits in your room, and you basically use it as an inventory, but you also use it to craft items as well. If you get to a higher level, you can bring it with you as an NPC, and it'll help you out. So it basically takes the spot of a party member. Mine is nowhere near that high yet. The Lily enemies in PSP2 Infinity are awful. They are much worse than Infinity. If memory serves, I think Middle Lily fires like a laser beam instead. And spams it. Yeah, they're awful. The lasers are a death sentence in PSP2 Infinity. They are. If you get hit by one of the lasers, you just get deleted. It's actually crazy how hard Infinity gets at high level. Like the enemies, even when you're level 200, the enemies will just delete you if you don't evade or block properly. You basically have to either just evade or block everything, or keep all the enemies locked down constantly. Oh, got some Green Beat S's. These are normally rare. I don't know if they're still rare in Ultimate. It is odd seeing those in Raffen Meadow. So it looks like it mixes the enemies up more in Ultimate, which is cool. I do kind of wish that we had it where the backgrounds would change as well, a bit like PSO Episode 1. But I suppose even PSO didn't do that for Episode 2 and Episode 4, so... There's a reason why people, at least for support techs, just make a party just to level them up. It used to be a thing on the Sega server as well. You would literally just have parties standing around the crystals that charge your weapons up, and you would just spam buffs for a couple of hours. I think if you were like new to the franchise with NGS and you try playing PSU now, trying to explain to someone that you have to stand in the same place with a few other people and just spam buffs for a couple of hours to get them to level. I don't think anyone would actually stick with the game. People would just quit immediately. The red demo comet is fab. Yeah, so the way it works, LGP, is quite a lot of the weapons, if they have like a photon blade on them, the blade will be the colour of whatever element the weapon is. So for that demolition comet, it's like an orangey colour because it's probably ground element. It was basically the way that PSU showed you what element your weapon was. So these swords I'm using, these are light element, which is why they're white. Whereas these are fire element. So it's just like a really easy way that the game communicated what element your weapon is. FF11 has the same thing with skill levels. Okay. I only played a tiny bit of FF11. I used to have a friend who played it and they sort of encouraged me, shall we say, to try playing it. I think I stayed with it for a couple of weeks and then dropped it. Just wasn't the game for me, really. Nothing against FF11, just wasn't for me. Yeah, the whole Earth element thing is quite weird. It's only really a thing in these Gurhal games. Outside of these like Gurhal system games, so, you know, PSU, Portable and so on, you don't really get ground element. Tends to be substituted for wind, like you said. I find some of these banners really funny on Clementine, where someone finds a special weapon and it just says, someone has found a special weapon. But no idea what it is, but they found a special weapon. FF11 was your life until PSU came out. Yeah, because I suppose they will have been at about the same time, weren't they, roughly? I think, was FF11 just after PSU? I can't remember what year FF11 released now. I think it was out on PS2 as well, wasn't it? So maybe it was about the same time. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just, you know, show us what the weapon is instead of just saying, "There's found a special weapon. Figure it out yourself." Why don't I get a banner for my Varista? That's technically a special weapon when I find it. It is a special weapon. So 11 was out for a while before PSU. Okay. Oh, 11 was 2002. Wow. I mean, I knew it was an old game, but I didn't realise it was that far back. So that means that FF11 was basically out at the same time as like PSO, GameCube, and Xbox. Oh, photon drop. We take those. Actually like Varista, but it'd be nice to have a different shot sound. I think Varista, honestly, is one of the coolest looking handguns in PSO. It's a shame it's not stronger. Yeah, I played a little bit of it at Krabby. I remember that it was like very slow pace and like pretty much turn based. I also remember that you could level down in it as well. I have horrible memories of leveling down. Right, so is Dragon gonna last long? Why do you run to the side of the map as soon as I transform? You absolute troll. Dragon? No, that's a dragon. Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, it's legally distinct dragon. I've also just realised that he's level 250. Not that it matters, he's still dead. Oh yeah, I suppose that's a really good point, isn't it? Yeah, I suppose if you level down, you then might not be able to use some of the gear that you've got. That's brutal. Oh, 400 drop. Again, we take those. I have no idea what the rest of the stuff's for. They were really tapping into the furry audience with the base characters. Sonic Team knew who they were catering to. It's kind of funny because the beast race just never came back, really. You had it in the Gurhal games, but then, again, once you moved to PSO 2, totally dropped them. They kept the human race from Infinity, but just dropped beasts. I mean, yeah, technically in PSO 2 and NGS, you could just make your character look like a beast anywhere. But it's strange that they only existed in these games. I wouldn't mind them coming back again, honestly. I think they're quite good. Alright, let's change up the music for the next run. As much as I love Trick Track, what else have you got? Or rather, what can I play that is stream friendly? Most of this, probably not. It'd be nice to have a few more songs on the jukebox. The Boomer song. What would you have Beast do gameplay wise, or do you want them more for just lore or aesthetic reasons? I suppose it's kind of hard to give them their own unique thing in NGS, because I suppose in NGS everyone is kind of mostly the same anyway. So it would probably just be aesthetics, I suppose, in regards to NGS, because you don't really have like racial abilities in NGS anymore. I'll tell you what, we had Trick Track, so let's go with that one. There's a challenge. Play complete Tyrell's Ego with the Boomer song. Oof. Yes, I am leader. I am aware. We do not have to do a quest every 10 seconds. You see, the guy was complaining that wasn't at the counter, and now he's not at the counter. Like, dude, do you want to serve with 90 people? Just chill. It's fine. Let us do. Do you know what? We're doing this now. We're doing that. I don't think he's in live, no. But realistically, just because I'm party leader, it doesn't mean you have to start a quest constantly. You know, you're in the ultimate lobby. There's loads of stuff to do there, like GAS and spending your AP and so on. You know, give people a few seconds to do it. My god, that guy was strong. I think PSU New Genesis would be better with racial traits, certain races getting access to special skills or abilities. I would like to see that back. I know that it wasn't really a thing in PSO2 either. But it would be nice though to have racial abilities back to some degree. Or just some difference between the races, because essentially everyone is the same in NGS. Apart from you might look a bit different. And even that's not guaranteed, because you can make a cast look like a human. You can make a human look like a cast if you want to. I mean, hell, in NGS, you can make your character look like a washing machine if you want to. Even though we're on PSU, we still cannot escape Final Impact. Yeah, Final Impact is everywhere. PSO2 used to have racial stat modifiers. They got rid of them in like episode 4. I think, yeah, that might have been the only thing with PSO2, maybe some slight stat differences. But even then, I don't think it was a huge difference from what I remember. Certainly not like PSU anyway, because in PSU there were noticeable stat increases. I know that because on the Sega server I used to play one of my characters was a Newman Forte fighter, which is not really the class you play on a Newman, but Clem has this weird thing where if the leader doesn't start a mission right away, people will just leave your party. And to be honest, I'm fine with that. I mean, if people don't want to wait, they can just leave. It's fine. You know, if I'm sat around not starting a quest for like half an hour, fair enough. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you can technically have a cast force in PSU if you want to. You know, those who watched Deployable know all about the infamous Harry Potter. Yeah, honestly, cast forces were always a bit of a meme when PSU released because they weren't particularly good at it. I think Newmans could kind of do melee a little bit better than cast could do force, but they both weren't brilliant at it. Harry Potter, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've also played a Newman Hunter in Infinity as well. See, the problem is I like Uniworld too much in PSO, so I inevitably try to make a Uniworld in every game that follows that. Some games let me do it no problem, some games do not. Oh, we got Seed Nagashi. I remember this guy. I think on the Sega servers I hunted this guy for quite a while because the quest that he was in dropped Agito. He's another enemy who does like screaming a lot. Yep, I mean, speaking to Clementine, though, I do like as well on this server that they have integrated maps from the portable games as well. I mean, this map is from PSP2. But we've got some Del Sabers, or Del Nadians as they're called. And we got Donoff's soul, so although Donoff died in PSO, we've got his soul in PSU. He did roundhouse kick me out the room. He did. Wait, these guys are doing fire. That threw me off completely because these normally spit Megad. PSU enemies do like to football punt you a lot, they do. That was another Donoff soul. Dude was so unlucky he died twice. So either the rare enemy rate is massively increased in Ultimate, or they just treat as normal enemies, because there's another Del Saber. I've got to say though, with a full party, Ultimate stuff does still kind of melt. I imagine it's a lot harder if you do it with, you know, 1 or 2 people. They actually leveled up. It is taking a lot more experience to level now. Unlike Rico or Flower, who die over and over and over and again. That reminds me, I still need to do a lore video for episode 3 at some point. Maybe once I finish the side stories for PSO. Speaking of videos, there will be a NGS video going live to members on Tuesday. And I think non-members will get last week's video, which is I believe it's a PSO video. More specifically an Affinia video. The PSO side stories will probably come back next week. Just to reiterate as well, I did mention it in a community post and on the last stream that I did, but I am dropping the video uploads to 1 a week for the foreseeable. I may occasionally drop an extra video if I feel like it, but plan for 1 video a week for the time being. Just, it's much more sustainable for me at the minute. You see that PSU has Temu Lunatone. Oh yeah, the turret things at the side of the room. Keep getting advertisements for Temu on literally pretty much anything I go on. And I have no interest in buying anything from it. There goes the Temu sponsorship. I got a bloody floor U plus. What is that? It is a saber. What does this look like? It's a saber, but is that really a saber? It is a saber, but it looks like a claw. Alright. It does leave a cool trail. It is a claw saber, it is. That's fine, prioritize your happiness. Oh, thanks, Draffia. Yeah, I was honestly a bit worried about announcing it because I know people look forward to the videos. And I kind of didn't want to feel like I was letting people down by dropping it to 1 a week, but it was honestly getting to a point where I was really struggling to think of ideas, and there was a couple of videos I'd done that I really wasn't happy with as a result. It's also just a lot of work because I do work well, pretty much a 9 to 5 during the week as well, so doing that, then having to record and edit 2 videos a week and do 2 streams a week and Discord event as well, it just felt like I had no time left. So I do appreciate that people have said, you know, they've been quite supportive of it. It's, as I said as well, it's not to say that there will be never any 2 videos a week. You know, you may get it now and again where I'll do a second video a week if I feel like it, but I want to keep it at 1 a week for the time being. And if I do a bonus video, there's a bonus video. This one drains your HP and PS2 to infinity. Kind of makes sense with a name like that, like. Flashbacks to running this constantly in PSU. Like all the time. Yeah, I think anyone who played PSU back in the day knew that you basically just spammed this quest until the end of time. He just like one-shot me. And he one-shot me by literally standing up. Okay, so what I've learned is we can't get hit. Excuse me? Sir? Nothing happened there. Yeah, I'll just die again, it's fine. I fear I may be slightly under level for this. How dare you take away my free content now? What will I do for the rest of the week without your videos? Exactly, you know? So, where have you gone? Would you like to land anytime soon? No, you just kill me instead. That's fine. Hey, Platinum. Ah, that is why he's changed element. Yeah, this guy's a gimmick where he switches elements mid-fight. And unfortunately, he switches between dark and light, so if you have the wrong line shield equipped, you'll just take way more damage. That went fine, apart from all the deaths. This was the boss that everyone did constantly. It was. Yeah, there was a quest called White Beast, and basically everyone just spammed the hell out of it. It was more or less like the TTF of PSU. Good job beating Alatreon, thank you. Yeah, it is fun doing Ultimate. I like some of the changes they've made. Okay, the guy that was complaining about me not starting quick enough has left, so... Yeah, I had the Dark Line shield equipped Drac at the start because he started off as Dark Element, but I didn't notice that he'd switched to Light halfway through. I am Acromaster, but I am the most cursed Acromaster in PSU. I have basically no techs. I should probably change class really, to be honest, for Ultimate. I may switch to Acro Fighter actually. Start the thunderstorm. Alright, let's see what else we can do. How many mates we got left anyway? Let's just fill the storage immediately. I should probably stick with using the LSU for now, really, because it's all grounded. If you level a new type, do it on Clemcam, ult will decimate you. Yeah, what level are my types on this? So I have Acro Fighter 22, which does give me a lot more health actually. Macro Mass is only 19, so maybe I'll switch to Acro Fighter. There is a lot of naked people in the lobby. There is quite a few. It's kind of a PSU thing. PSU kind of started that. And then PSO2 and NGS just totally ran with it. Don't forget you have gas per type. Some is all type 2. Yeah, I need to look into the gas stuff more really. Right, is there a type counter here? Gas is OP for tech users. You can use gas to eliminate blowback, sorry. I think the gas counter was this one, I believe. That way you won't ever get blown away, which is a complaint for a lot of people. Just out of curiosity, Drac, is there a type counter in the Ultimate lobby? Can you change class here? Only 5th floor, okay. Let's have a look at the gas stuff anyway first. Gas style skills are the all class ones, by the way. Okay. It's the 3rd time I've been kicked off my internet. Oof. It's kind of weird with this menu that the first menu is up here, and then the explanation menu is like right down the bottom here. that could be a thing with borderless gaming though. Again, way too low for Ultimate, so I guess I have to wait. Yeah, I think Ultimate now is 180. I think for AP, I think you can more or less just run... I think we just ran more or less anything, and you used to get AP. You used to only gain AP after 190. That's rough, isn't it, really? Because that means you would only start gaining it once you could do ultimate. Oof. You want a sheet suggestion? I am all for suggestions for gas points. You're at 76 and kind of getting battered around unless you're trying to type with a lot of evade. It takes a bit of getting used to with PSU because you don't really have a way to evade as such. And I mean, I guess you've got things like just counters, but a lot of the evasion with PSU is just kind of trying to get out of the way of attacks. I guess after a while you kind of learn what the enemies do and you can kind of work around it. But you will just get hit a lot as well. I have no idea what this stuff is. So this stuff, to my knowledge, I think this was only added to the Japanese version of PSU. I certainly don't remember it on the Western version. I could be wrong. You've sent it on Discord. Let's have a look. That's really handy, actually. This client is basically a Japanese client, so it checks out. Yeah, Japanese PSU was actually a lot different to Western PSU. Drac, do you know where the ability is to not get knocked back? Which category it's in? Because I think that'd be quite useful to get. It is quite annoying getting knocked away all the time. Some of them require multiple AP to max, some of them might not be maxed because there's a cap depending on race. Okay. Yeah, so this is where my knowledge of PSU drops off completely because this is just totally unfamiliar to me. We've been playing the Western version. It's kind of weird because it's almost like a new game. In shield styles, okay. I'm going to assume stand firm. Reduced chance of being knocked down by powerful attacks, that's one. Reduced chance of being blown away by powerful attacks. Okay. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, so one of them is for knock down and one is for knock away. Okay, so we got that at least. Sheet recommends rapid action. For more AVP blocks that can go into just counters. To be honest, I wouldn't trust myself enough to do that at the minute. I tend to just eat attacks all the time, so... Style upgrade you can swap around after unlocking. Type 1s you lose the AP. It's weird that it's different between both. So how do I see how much AP I actually have? Oh yeah, I know it's really, really good. It's just I don't trust myself to react quick enough to a block. Oh, you have to go into your status menu, okay. I have 95 AP. Use those will make your life easier. So let's have a look what's on this sheet. So they recommend Avenge or Competent Pharmacist for extra style. How goes the PS0? PS0 is going pretty well. We're doing PSU today, but they're good to see your remote. Look at your types weapons and decide if you want to follow those recommendations or not. I would appreciate my pharmacist to be competent. I mean, yeah, I would prefer that they're competent. So, increases the effectiveness of recovery items by 50%. That seems just really useful, honestly. You get them mixed up sometimes. Oh, no worries. So that is increased trap damage. Double duration on status enhancement items. Enhance your presence to provoke enemy attacks. Nope. Increase nano blast duration by 30%. That's not too bad. Increase NPC partner damage output. Yeah, I'm thinking Wild Blast might be really useful because I use the invincibility blast. Regens HP with tech casts. Grants auto recovery once nearby allies. And removes your line shield's photon glow. That seems less useful. There's no partner NPC, so that one is useless. It's just there, just for you to waste AP on. Yeah, because the partner machines in to use as a party member, they're not actually functional in Clementine yet, are they? I think I'll go with Wild Blast actually, because I really like the idea of having a longer nano blast. I just like, obviously, because I use the invincibility blast, it's just really useful having the invincibility. So having it last 30% longer just seems like a good idea. Okay, so what about weapon style? Elemental Weapon 3 or Revenge Blaster. I think we picked those up before, didn't we? Yeah. I'm sure we already had those. Let's see. Yeah, we have Elemental Burst. So we're fine with that. So what else is there? Full custom power, just attack damage, just counter damage, critical rate. So what is this under? This is special abilities. So I'm assuming it's under type. So full custom power is 10 out of 10 grand weapons gain plus 10% of their base attack. I don't think I have any 10 out of 10 weapons, so we can probably pass on that one. Just attack damage seems useful. 2.5% damage boost per level. Keep in mind U plus weapons are stupid hard to get to 10 and can't repair. Okay. So maybe not full custom power then. Yeah, maybe I'll go with just attack damage then. Okay, that's 8 AP. And I can't level it more than that, so that's fine. And then crit rate. Increase the rate of critical attacks by 15%. Again, seems useful. So can I take critical rate and just attack damage with them being in the same category? Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I am going to play Acromaster anyway, so that's fine. I was just saying, Drac, so because just attack damage and critical rate are both in the special abilities category, can I take both of them or can I only take one? You can take multiple, there's just a cap, okay. Let's say you don't take full custom power level 2, you can use those 2 levels on something else. Oh, fair enough. So we'll go... I think critical rate just seems like a good idea. More crits is more damage. And you beat the cap for that column, which is 8. I don't know how to tell where the cap is. But I think taking critical rate is probably a good idea. For beast it's 7, okay. It's only on the wiki. Yeah, it would help to have that in the game, really. So what do we have at the minute? So we have just attack damage at level 2. It is PSU there, Casey, yeah. You sent it to me on Discord, oh, thanks for that. Okay, that's really handy, that Drac, actually, thanks for that. Yeah, hope you're doing alright, Casey, as well. The fact that certain types just give you attack speed is pretty crazy. Yeah, I think it's only the Acro classes, I think, that do it. As far as I'm aware. Okay, so if we can have 7 from this category, we've leveled that to level 2. So I'm guessing that means I can have 5 more points in this category. Well, I can only take that to level 1. I mean, it is a 15% increase in crits, so I get why. I mean, I guess I take just counter damage in case I get a random just counter off. They all have different level caps. If you want more info on each one, you have to consult the wiki. Or ask me. When there is critical mastery, which increases the damage of crits by 5%. 5% is not a huge amount though. But maybe if I've got spare points, maybe it's worth it. I suppose if we're critting more often as well. Yeah, it is a really complicated system, isn't it, really? Again, I think because I'm not familiar with it at all as well, because I only played the Western version of PSU. I've never played the Japanese version, so this entire system is completely new to me. It's cool to have it though. I mean, it certainly gives a lot more flavour to the endgame for sure. I think for now I'll take that. Yeah, I suppose if you're boosting your just counter damage with this and then using the other skill to trigger just counters more often, makes sense. Alright, so what else should I take? Let's see. There's weapon skills, which obviously depends on what weapons you're going to use. And then just basic stat ups. Using a skill that disables dodges but gives you damage reduction. War attacker has over 5,000 health. Well, we're using Saber a lot, so increase element of Sabers by 3%. That seems worth it. What level did Asher recommend taking this to, out of curiosity? Level 3. Well, I can only take it to level 1. And we'll do dagger as well. What else do we use a lot? Handguns, maybe. We do use twin sabers a lot, so I'll boost them as well. Yeah, that'll do for now. I'll figure out the rest of it later, but at least we've got a few gas abilities now. I do still have 50 AP. I think it's mainly for... Well, they recommended a lot of weapon types, which at the minute I'm only using a few, so I'm happy to save that AP for now. And there was, I think there was some... Was it stat increases? Never played the expansion, Ambition of the Luminous. Does it change much from the base game? It added a few new things. Honestly though, a lot of this that I'm playing at the minute here is Clementine specific, or rather was specific to the Japanese version of PSU that we never got in the West. The Japanese version, I said it earlier, but there was a lot of things in the Japanese version of PSU that just were never added to the Western version. So this is basically a system where you can add different abilities to your character, which are designed to like help you at the end game. Take the resist like freeze and stun and stat increases, okay. So let's... Yeah, the release cycle was quite far ahead for Japan. I mean, you know, Japan got stuff that we just never got. So basic abilities are just my stats. Special abilities is those. Is that it there? Resistances. Yeah. So I think freeze resist is probably huge. Yeah, I think Acro Master is a custom class, as far as I'm aware. I know that Aqua Fighter and Aqua Attacker were definitely in the game. So yeah, we will take Freeze Resist. That seems like a good idea. Does it recommend a level for this? Level 2, okay. I think I'll take Sleep Resist because sleep in this game is super annoying. And probably Stun Resist as well. The other ones aren't too bad. So we'll just get some basic stats as well, I guess. So we're at 32 AP left. I mean, for Acromaster, I think... What's our, like, specialty in for stat-wise? We have a lot of evade. But we are very lacking on health as well. Honestly, with the amount of damage stuff's doing, maybe I get a bit of health. You think strength and evade? Okay. See, so this would boost evasion by 30. Okay. They recommend accuracy too. See, so far, I don't think I've had any real accuracy problems. I seem to hit pretty easily. These can go up to level 5, okay. Is that actually what it recommends taking them to? Yes, okay. Let's just crank the evasion up. Defense level 3, okay. So we've done that. So we'll do strength as well, because why not? We've got 17 AP left. There, we've got 2 AP left, so... I guess they said defense, so I guess I'll put a point in there. And we have 1 AP left we can't really do much with, so we'll keep that for now. Try Rapid Shield if you want to go evade maxing later when you have more AP. Yeah, we'll do it. I mean, I suppose that's a good thing about the system, isn't it? That you can just kind of mess around and change it around. So that we are slightly less terrible now. Let's also change the music because the temple theme is now doing my head in. Let's do the Florida theme. Seize Temple. There we go. The most intense menu spam. You'll dodge like crazy. What was that? Dodge like crazy. I played Acromaster too. And if it stops me getting one shot all the time, that'll help. So let's do a motive mission because we haven't done one yet. What is that one? Trying with the bosses in Snowcap Screamer. Possibly they're all there. Yeah, we'll do this one. No idea what's in it, but... Motib or Motavia? That's the real question. Florida theme though. Yeah, this is also a PSU map. So you guys are fire, so let's switch to fire before we get absolutely obliterated. Moortube is Florida now. Yeah, this is a map from PSP2. We actually blocked something. Yeah, is this what it's like in Florida? I've never been to Florida, so I wouldn't know. Iritista Spellstone, if only it was as rare as PSO. The internet says yes. Are drops client specific in this? They are. Yeah, so basically everyone has their own instance version of the drop, so if you see a red box drop, you can just pick it up, which I really like. I know that people who played PSO and PSU back in the day, you know, everyone used to like rush for the red boxes. And yeah, it was kind of fun doing that to an extent, but it also sucked if something you wanted dropped and someone else got to it first. Yeah, Affinia has it as well, yeah. It's a really good system, I think. They've essentially taken the system that's used in PSO2, more or less. It just works better. I mean, you know, the game is a cooperative game at the end of the day, so it makes sense that you should be able to, you know, get your own stuff and not worry about stuff getting stolen. Not that it's really getting stolen. I mean, realistically, if a red box drops, it's for anyone. But again, anyone who plays PSO knows the feeling of something you want getting stolen. It just works exactly. I don't know why these guys are launching the Diga into actual space, but I'm here for it. I love that weapon that Drax uses, and I think it's, is it Crazy Galactus that, I think? I'm sure I recognise it from PSP2 as well. Master Galactus. I wonder if it's like an upgraded version. Oh, it's U+, okay. Motive has no ocean, because otherwise it's hot and muggy, so yes. I'm definitely blocking a lot more. He says as he immediately gets hit. Fallout 4 is your most played game according to Steam. I think on Steam, technically, I think NGS is probably my most played, but if I wasn't counting Steam, then base PSO2 is probably a lot more than that. Obviously, most of my playtime on like base game PSO2 was on the Japanese side, so it wasn't through Steam. I probably played that for thousands of hours, so. I actually don't know what I've played more of, PSO or PSO2. It's probably really close. Monster Hunter World is your most played by far. I think World is my second highest on Steam. Which makes me sad when I look at my playtime for Wild, because I played it for 50 hours and I haven't touched it in about a week. Most played game is on any console is Fallout New Vegas. It's beaten out by the Pokemon games. Oh, it's beaten out the Pokemon games. Yeah, I think for Wilds, I do want to play it a lot more, but I think I'm probably just gonna. I might do the odd play now and again, but I think for the most part, I'm probably just gonna wait for the title update. It's a shame because I genuinely do really like the game. Again, I just don't feel like there's a great deal to do at the minute. In comparison to World, I mean. I know base game World was kind of a bit lacking at launch as well, but I still feel like it had a bit more than Wilds. But I still do really enjoy Wilds though from what I played of it. So I'm just waiting for the title update and then I'll probably play it a lot more. So conflicting as I thought we were going to have a whole new thing to grind endlessly with a bunch of people. Then there's the technical issues preventing some, and then the lack of an endgame. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I get the impression they're doing it very similar to, I suppose, like Rise and World to an extent, where they're going to keep adding monsters to a title update. The monsters will probably get progressively harder. So it's essentially like almost like live service, isn't it? Yeah, again, it's not to say I don't like Wilds. I do really enjoy it. I really love the hunting side of it. The hunting feels fantastic, I think. But I just don't feel like there's just that much to do at the minute. When World came out, I clocked in 100 hours in the first week, but Wilds is barely at 60. I basically did the story in Wilds, did all the high rank stuff, got a couple of armor sets, and then stopped. Yeah, I'm not sure what it is. It's weird. At least you have every other Monster Hunter game to go through and complain now. Yeah, for sure, Jafia. I think as you said, the foundation of what's there is really, really strong. It just needs a bit more. Which obviously it's going to get over time, you know. I think a few people have said that realistically, the game was probably rushed out. I think it was Kilniath said that the investors probably wanted it rushing out early. That's probably why it's in the state it's in at the minute. So I think if we give it some time, I think it'll be absolutely fine. I totally agree on that as well, actually, Remote. Yeah, about the Artium weapons. It feels like a really stupid decision to me to have the Artium weapons as best in slot for a lot of weapon classes, because it just means that there is no reason to hunt for the weapons from the monsters, which is the whole point of the game. Hello, SectionSkyly. Great to see you playing my favourite Phantasy Star game. Oh, no worries, but I'm glad you like PSU as well. It has a small but very dedicated fan base, I think. Yeah, good to see you, 8-bit. Yeah, we haven't played PSU in quite a while, 8-bit, so I think I hadn't played it in about 3 months, so I thought, right, time to play it. Didn't get into PSU at release, you just weren't interested at the time. I totally get that, I think a lot of people were the same. PSO fans just wanted to keep playing PSO. Yeah, it is kind of the Cult Troth situation, isn't it, Remote? Yeah. I just don't see the sense in having one weapon set be better than most other stuff, because it means that really you're only hunting the monsters to actually get armor. Oh, you weren't into PSO either, okay. FF11 was my thing by then, I'm pretty sure. Yes, I suppose realistically if you were playing FF11 you probably didn't have time for PSO anyway. Yeah, PSU story's not bad, honestly. I think the only perennial downside with PSU story is Ethan. If there is an opportunity to dunk on Ethan, I will take it. Is there any reason not to use ice bullets on firearms to freeze enemies? I suppose for really high health enemies, I guess maybe you could use fire to burn them to whittle their health down faster. Freeze is obviously really, really useful. But yeah, I think freeze is definitely one of the most useful elements for sure. All my homies hate Weber. That's a good point, actually. Yeah, there is lifesteal ones as well. And yeah, gelling I could see actually being really useful in Ultimate, particularly if you were soloing, just to weaken some of the enemies down a bit. The grind is insane for F11. To get one mythic, you need 11,000 currency. That drops like 10 at a time on a run. I'm leaving out all the steps up to that. I suppose with MMOs it kind of makes more sense because they want you to keep playing, so if they give you something to grind towards, it gives you a reason to stay playing, but yeah, it can go a bit too far sometimes. I remember even in PSO2 base, trying to grind for the, I think, was it the austere weapons, I think it was? Trying to grind the materials for those was a nightmare back in the day. In-game weapons in 11 are obscene. They absolutely blow away anything 14 has or had away. I always forget this, but is FF11 the one where there's like a really rare weapon that you can fish up somewhere? Or is that a different game? You're so dedicated to PSU, and going back to it when the Clementine servers were still being developed was an absolute joy. I'm just glad that there's a server out there that lets people keep playing PSU. As flawed as it might be in some ways, I'm just glad that there is still a way to play it online. I personally think the game preservation is a really important thing. Just glad they managed to capture enough from PSU to make a server work. Yeah, I mean, you know, there is a few things that don't work as intended, but for the most part, it plays absolutely fine. Oh, they're fire versions of Vander Augers. In a fetching shade of pink. Yeah, it could be a different game, Mecha. I can't remember which game it was now, but I remember there was a game where you could fish up something stupidly rare, and it was like so rare that no one had really found it. Yeah, so did you actually help out with Clementine 8-bit? It's Excalibur and FF11. Yeah, please stop knocking me over. See, now that I've got the trait where I can't be knocked back, everything's just knocking me over instead. Yeah, I know there's for FF11, I know there's like private servers going for that as well. It's really good to see, I think, for MMOs that have kind of, where the official servers have either gone down or if they're just not really populated anymore. It's good to see that there's always communities out there keeping the servers going and keeping the ability to play online there. I mean, obviously, as a PSO player, that is particularly important because, you know, without servers like Affinia and, you know, all the other private servers, we wouldn't really have many options. I know we can still play it offline, but as much as I love PSO, playing PSO offline single player is nowhere near as fun as playing it with a party online. Eleven retail has changed so much as well. A lot of private servers aim to emulate the 2005 era. Okay. What's the reason for that? Is it considered that the game isn't as good as it was in 2005, or is it just to give like a different experience? A lot of people consider it the golden era. Okay. I'm going to assume this is the end because we're getting a lot of these guys. The FF11 servers exist because a lot of the old player base hated the expansion that raised the cap above level 75, so they made classic servers. Okay. Oh, maybe that isn't the end. chance of getting Excalibur is 1 in 20,000. Yeah, I was going to say, as a PSO player, that sounds quite funny. Helped find a lot of the missing stats by importing all of the game Bibles put out by Enterbrain. So much of it still isn't online anywhere. That's really cool that you were able to contribute to that. Yeah, I imagine a lot of the literature for the game is just gone now. I still don't know why PSU boss scenes are so loud in comparison to everything else. You are, what? Ground element. So let's actually put a ground armor on. There's a thought. Can you please stop hitting me? This guy does suck. He does also have a tiny head. But don't let him know that I said that. Yeah, I'll just get deleted, that's fine. I swear, tornadoes in Phantasy Star games are the worst. Nope, he has decided to grace us with his presence and land again. I used to play PSU with my dad back in the 360 days. He'd grind non-stop and put things in the shared box for me. 1 month in, like, we couldn't afford Xbox Live, so I played offline. Oh god, the voice acting was bad. Yeah, it was not brilliant. Are you doing more tornado BS? You are. We found this guy for several months to get the ingredients for a room item. Sounds about right for the PSU experience. So I'm stunned in first person mode. No, I'm not. Oh, yeah, I forgot that guy is like yeets enemies at you. Why is that so loud? Cease. Jesus Christ. The sound balancing is so off in this game, man. Yeah, he just like exploded from cringe. Yeah. I like how you casted there and that box didn't break. Oh, float and drop. Peace Breaker U. No idea what that is. Doesn't the crafting system have a % chance to fail? Oh, yes. Yeah, that was one of the fun things in PSU. So yeah, so you know that really rare synthesis board that you just found for that really rare weapon that you want to make? It'd be a shame if my partner machine just blew it up. Yeah, so the crafting could fail when you were trying to make the weapon in the first place, and then in base game PSU, if you grinded a weapon and it went wrong, you would blow the weapon up and lose the weapon. In the expansion, they changed it a bit. All right, let's restock. I actually didn't use much heal that time, actually. Although that might be because Draken was basically spamming me with heals for most of the run. I've seen that, James. Yeah, the VR project. I know there is on VR chat. I know there is a few maps on that as well. That is like a PSO first person. I have tried it. I mentioned this before, but when I tried it, it made me violently motion sick. But I think that may have been my headset. Some issues with that, so I'll maybe try it again at some point. Yeah, I'll do a room run every so often, just to drop stuff off. I also want to change this BGM as well, because I can only tolerate so much of this theme. Trick was making 4 partner machines with the correct stats to cover all bases. Yeah, that's what I used to do on the Sega servers. You'd have 4 different characters with different partner machines that specialise and stuff. On this, I don't know if you need to, but yeah, it was rough on the Sega servers. As much as I want to play some of these, I think a lot of these are just going to be like instant copyright. Yeah, I'm normally okay with most VR stuff, but there's the odd thing now and again. If it's not very well optimized, it can make me really sick. It's a horrible feeling as well. You can use the ult tokens we've been getting every mission to craft boosters. You buy the boards in the swap shop here. Oh, fair enough. So I guess the idea is that you spam ultimate to get the tokens, craft the boosters, and then use the boosters in the ultimate missions. Slightly weird for quest music, but kind of running out of options. If you get PA boosters with an event with PA boost, it's really easy to level stuff on high HP enemies. Oh, fair enough. Right, so what's in VR? Mop-ups. I have no idea how hard they are. Do you have any recommendations for a quest track? You don't know them, okay. Oh, they keep adding new ones, okay. Let's do Beach Bum Beasts. Well, I am terrified it's going to play Strange Fruits, because I know there was a quest on this that played Strange Fruits. So instead, let's try Jewel in the Ruins, sure. Oh, actually, I changed the BGM anyway, so it wouldn't matter. Unless it overrides what you picked. It's going to be very weird doing a quest with this music in the background. I'm used to having this music playing when I'm chilling in a photon chair in the PSO lobbies. Yeah, it's the PSO lobby theme. Again, there's like a jukebox in the lobby that you can use to change the BGM for the quests. Someone was working on a VR mode mod for PSU. That'd be interesting. I mean, I'm always happy to see anything to do with Phantasy Star, honestly. Gonna head off. Have a great week, everyone. Oh, no worries, Ellie. Good to see you as well. Hope you have a good week. It's a raid boss. Hydrate. I will do. Since I'm assuming you can't redeem it again. Yeah, the grass assassins are quite a bit bigger in this. I will say that is one thing I do like about PSU though, just the sheer amount of enemies it has. I know a lot of them are kind of reskins of each other and stuff, but it does feel quite diverse overall. Do you know what? I'm using Nanoblast here because I keep taking too much damage. That was the correct decision. It hasn't let me through the whole stream. It was out of stock before Gilneath used it. I will never understand this. Yeah, again, just as a reminder for anyone who might be watching for the first time, I do multi-stream, so I'm streaming on Twitch and on YouTube, so... Yeah, I think that's just going to be one of the mysteries of this channel, really, as to why that particular redeem is just not redeemable by a lot of people. But I would say though, for anyone who maybe wants to check out PSU for the first time, or if you want to go back to it if you used to play it back in the day, I think it is well worth checking out this server. Just for the sheer fact that there isn't really many alternatives for PSU. It's not like PSO where there's loads of different private servers for it. You don't really have an option for this game. And it feels totally fine, honestly. You know, there are changes from Sega for sure, but if you want to play PSU, this is your option. Unless you want to play offline. PSP to Infinity is the closest and you need to network for that. Yeah, I mean, I know there is ways of playing Infinity online. Oh, I've got a last one U+. Cool. I actually need a last one in PSO, that's really annoying. Are there any online PSO games you haven't or don't play? Was Nova online, or was that offline only? Because I never played Nova. What else? For the online games, I think... I know there's Idler, but I don't think Idler was online either. I think that was more of like a gacha game. Nova does have multiplayer, okay. Yeah, last one is pretty rough to get in PSO. I basically need to spam a lot of Black Pepper's deal 2 and hope for the best. I could do with one for my Huke Seal. Yeah, that's the entire reason I didn't play Nova. I just never had a PS Vita. I just think it looks like a fun game, and I will probably check it out at some point, just because you know, I've played more or less everything else. I may as well. You really like the combat variety and the big exploration factor in PSU. Yeah, I really like how PSU is structured. I know with the Ultimate Lobby it's a little bit different because you don't go to different lobbies, you just go back to the Ultimate Lobby. But for like the regular gameplay, I've always liked how you travel through the different areas and so on. Play all the PSO games like you're collecting the Infinity Stones. I always thought a PSO remaster would be a good fit for the 3DS in the same sort of style as PS0 with, say, updated graphics in episode 1, 2 and 4 content. Yeah, I mean, I would like to see them bring back PSO in some capacity. I've always said this, but whether they do it, it's hard to say because I've said this numerous times before, but I think if anything is going to happen, I would think it would be this year, well, announced this year for the 25th anniversary, but it's just the big problem is private servers. Because the private servers have a decent player base and are doing really well, is there a need to bring PSO back? I know I'm really conflicted on it, really. Honestly, don't trust Sega to handle any of PSO based on how they ruined NGS. Yeah, for what's worth, I don't mind NGS, honestly. I just view it differently to PSO. Yeah, Zero's totally fine. I've been having a good time with it. It does feel a bit restrictive in places, you know, mainly things like the weapon palette. If you think PSO's weapon palette's small, Zero is ridiculous. But I still really enjoy the game. I think it does totally fine for a DS game. They look kind of scary. Oh yeah, for sure, Jaffe, yeah, I mean, I guess they were looking for some way to change things up from PSO. Well, sorry, from PSO 2. And I guess trying to make the game more open world is probably one way of doing it, given how many other games were going open world at the time. So it's a difficult one, really. Yeah, the Zero palette is really rough. I genuinely don't know how anyone plays Force in Zero. It must be so hard to play Force in Zero just because you have no palette space. My concern is mostly how much gacha they added. The gacha thing's a weird one because quite a lot of the tickets are freely obtained through gameplay, so things like the special scratch and so on, you just get those from playing. In regards to things like the Arcs Cash, so the paid ones, that was the thing that more or less started with the early games. So PSO 2 was probably the one that made it a lot more apparent. But from what I understand, I think even the Japanese version had some kind of microtransactions for PSU. You played Forced by Rafoi. What, just spam Rafoi, nothing else? Yeah, I mean, I totally understand though with people getting so overwhelmed with all the pop-ups for tickets and everything in NGS. I just think when people say that the gacha is what ruined NGS, I kind of disagree with that, because it wasn't a thing that NGS brought in. It kind of started with, as I said, PSO 2 for the most part. There was some element of microtransactions in Japanese PSU, but yeah, I don't understand that draft here either, why they couldn't have just put in like a quick menu or something. I know there is kind of a quick menu, but it stops your character from moving while you access it. It's one of my very few criticisms of the game though, honestly. I think Zero is really cool. Yeah, 8-bit, I agree. I mean, the amount of work that must have gone into making Clementine work at all. Yeah, I mean, private servers have been around for PSO for God knows how long. But for PSU, I suppose they were kind of working from a blank slate. But yeah, I've always said it, I really, really appreciate the work that the private server community put in. I think my view on the private servers is, providing you're not infringing on a game that's currently active, I personally don't see a problem with them. You know, if they were to make, for example, an NGS private server, just as an example, I would have issues with that, because obviously the Sega server is still up. But for a game like PSO, where the online component hasn't been active for, you know, years, or even something like PSU as well, when the game hasn't been officially supported for years and years, I really don't see an issue with private servers. I think that is helping to preserve the game. You know, if you think for a game like PSU, if you didn't have a server like Clementine, what would your options be for playing PSU? You'd be playing it offline. And if anyone who's played PSU offline knows, the offline component of PSU is extremely restrictive. Why did those hay bales take like several casts to break? Is it because they're ultimate hay bales? Yeah, it's insane, isn't it, Jaffia? I remember playing the offline part of PSU. Because obviously when I first got PSU, I played through the offline story to do the story mode first. And then I believe in PSU, I think there was a thing, so you had story mode, then there was obviously online mode. And I think the other mode, was it called extra mode or something? And it was basically like an offline mode where you could make your own character and, you know, find drops and stuff. Dual Phantasm U+. What is that? That is a twin claw that I can't equip. think, yeah, it's a macro master, isn't it? That's why. Yeah, it didn't even have like the PSU launch content. The offline mode was super stripped back. I seem to remember like half of the rare items weren't even in the game either. I think there was like a couple of S ranks that you could buy from the shop, and there may have been a few drops, and that was about it. It was so scaled back, it just wasn't even worth playing, honestly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was basically just the story mode stuff, but with your own character. There was next to no reason to do it. I guess they put it there as, I suppose it was like a way to appease people who couldn't play online, maybe. And obviously, they probably knew that not everyone would want to play as Ethan. Because let's be real, no one wants to play as Ethan. So I guess they thought, right, if we make an offline mode where you can make your own character and do some quests, that might kind of pacify people who can only play offline. But it was definitely a really poor experience. I have no idea what is that word. I can let you in if you want. Good luck. We're all counting on you. I wonder if that's actually a separate block. The original team, pulled together by Marmalade, spent many hours figuring out how all the data was structured and how it was managed. Not an easy task. Yeah, I can imagine it was a nightmare trying to figure out exactly how the game worked online, given that there was... I suppose when the Sega server went down, you essentially lost all reference. So that is block 4. Oh god. Thank God for having the invincibility nanoblast. I was really hoping there wasn't more of these guys. I'm so dead. Somehow I think being in the corner is probably not the play. Yeah, I'll just get deleted immediately. Oh yeah, you know, cast shifter, you know, because he went strong enough already. That's fine. Oddly, the Zonda that they're doing does basically no damage, which is really weird. Just everything else they do hurts like hell. They literally look in my general direction and I just die. Jeez. Are you weaker than a Master Force? I'm probably not far off. Yeah, this class is very, very... You know, there's pretty much glass cannon. which is probably not the play for this. I don't know what that hitbox was, but I'm not here for it. I literally get hit twice and just die. It's because they're already buffed as well. Okay, one is dead. How much do you want to bet that it's going to spawn like 3 of them after I kill this one? Can you just like spam Zonda instead? Because that does no damage. I'm happy when you do that. Oh, we've actually done it. My god. I don't like how it's just opened another room though. At one point all you could do was spawn in a bush with no character model and message each other using the chat functions. Well, it's gotta start somewhere. Yeah, so what I've learned about this quest is it just splits you all up at the end, which is really nice. I mean, at least I can pretty reliably launch stuff. That does help. Or I could just die again. What's the typical etiquette on joining active parties? As far as I'm aware, people don't seem to mind it. Most of the quests you can join just mid-mission on this anyway, so... Tried to dabble in the project for Monster Hunter Frontier and got stumped. Most of the NPCs still don't work, but most of the game otherwise works. Oh, cool. I think Kilniath played a bit of Monster Hunter Frontier before as well. Again, that is on the list of games I still need to try, just because I've heard so many wild things about Frontier. Then it's a fun game. I know later on it just gets absolutely ridiculous in Frontier with all of the Zenith monsters and everything, but it kind of looks really fun, but also ridiculous. It has a launcher now. At least two of the original team, Norm and Tony, are still spending time working on PSU Clementine. That's good to know. I imagine the team has probably changed a bit over time, but good to know that some of the original ones are still working on it. Yeah, Frontier is the one with the 2 insane new weapons. I think, is it Magnet Spike and is it Tonfa as well? I wish they would make Tonfas real. we're really gonna do this. Thankfully, I can kill him pretty quickly with Nanoblast, but it's just when I run out of Nanoblast, things go wrong. There's a few servers for Frontier. Rain is one of the popular ones, but the MH Old School server tries to keep more reasonable stuff before things got insane. Yeah, later Frontier is just crazy, some of the stuff I've seen from it. I'm sure I remember seeing there was like some version of Kezu, I think it was like Zenith Kezu. It literally just gives you heart attacks and kills you. Yeah, so the Zenith monsters remote have these special status effects called Zenith. Like, I think so. It's like Zenith Thunderblight and things like that, or Super Thunderblight. And the super version of Thunderblight basically just puts your character in a cardiac arrest, and you literally, if I remember correctly, I think another party member has to save you and literally like CPI your character. Oh yeah, it can also just eat you as well and kill you. Yeah. You need some Zenith Nullberries. Okay, I have reached block 4. The mobs were buffing each other, it was crazy. Yeah, I had to deal with, it was like a few fully buffed Gynozeros and some other enemies as well. It sucked. Yeah, I kind of feel with Frontier. Frontier is basically like, what if Monster Hunter just had no rules? And just went crazy. Oh, we got Rapids. These are the less cursed ones in PSU. They're also super strong. Didn't realise that guy had left me behind. What happened 8-bit was there was a part so far through the block where there was a laser fence that we had to open, and you had to hold the switch to open it, so we had to split up. So basically this quest forces you to split up and go 2 different ways. I guess if you split to get the Rapids, yeah, I suppose it's like a bonus room, isn't it? From where I'm looking, it doesn't really seem worth it, but... But hey, I managed to solo some ultimate stuff, admittedly by dying a lot. So I have no idea what the boss is going to be. Guess we'll find out. It's another 2-headed dragon. Okay, so you are ground elements, so we probably don't want to be wearing lightning armor. That probably won't help. This is apparently the dragon stream. Right, just stay on the ground while I do this, right? do not consider flying. Just do not. It's not PSO without at least 3 dragons. I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, actually perfectly timed nanoblast. I mean, Dragon Stream with Draken, it fits. It does. I forgot about that weird tech. The like lightning bolt that just follows them. I forgot that was a thing. Why was he so much easier? I also like how it says he's been suppressed. Like, no, he's clearly dead. The Grass Assassin was harder. Hi, Pop and Shoot. Is there a good amount of players playing? So I checked at the beginning of the stream, but let's have a look. There are now 110 people online. So yeah, I mean, this is quite active for Clementine, honestly, but yeah, over 100 people online at the minute. Got 2 U+ weapons. Oh, nice. I remember that actually from PSP2. Yeah, I got a dual Phantasm U+, which I can't use it. I don't actually know what that looks like. I wonder if it's like the Demon Claw ones. And I also got a Last One U+ as well. Yeah, the server's relatively well populated, Pop-In. I don't think it's as big as some of the PSO servers for sure, but there is definitely enough people to be able to play with others. Marmalade is back but goes by the name Adam now. They work on 2 other private servers. One is for Uragiri and the other is an old medieval game or something. Oh, cool. So they're working on private servers for other games as well. Cool. Maybe got time for maybe one more short quest. I will change the music though. Hi, Sale, you right? Yeah, I'll probably be ending in about 15 minutes or so. Time might be off because I think some people might be celebrating, well, might be observing daylight savings. I think for us it's in a couple of weeks, I think. Would it be worth getting into for someone like you who never really got to play PSU when it was out? I would say that. What's your experience like with the other Phantasy Star games? Have you played PSO or PSO2? Let's do that one. Is this the song I think it is? Yeah, it is. Cool. You have. So this, if you've played PSO and PSO2, this, as you would expect, feels like kind of a halfway house between the two. You can see where they got some ideas from PSO2, but there's still some carryovers from PSO as well. I would definitely give it a shot if you've never played it before. I would definitely obviously try and play with other people because, like Drafia said, it is a lot more fun to play with other people than this. But yeah, if you've never played PSU, I would definitely give it a shot. This server is called Clementine, so if you just search for Clementine PSU. Alright, so let's do one more quest. Actually, I probably need to stock up actually with the amount of stuff I spent in the last run. Yeah, just slightly. Say hello to Crazy Blizzard. They're a well-known player or something, because I'm not familiar with the name myself. I'm trying to what quite a short quest is. I think Sleeping Warriors wasn't too long. What else is quite short? Tell him Vera says hi. I mean, this is the dragon stream, so I guess we'll do Moonlight Base and kill another dragon. Def give it a shot, because I started playing Phantasy Star Portable 2 on the PSP, but it's boring since playing offline. Portable 2 is really good, but yeah, for sure it is probably a lot more fun with other people. But this will probably feel quite similar to Portable 2 in terms of how the game plays. There is some differences. So if you play Portable 2, you're probably familiar with the way that the PP system works. So in Portable 2, your PP on your character is tied to your character, not your weapon. Whereas in this game, the PP is actually tied to the weapon itself. So you can actually run out of PP on a weapon and you can charge that individual weapon up if you want to. So for example, if I was using this dagger and I used it a lot, eventually it'll burn out of PP and then I can switch to another weapon if I wanted to. Where in Portable 2, it's kind of tied to your character instead and it just regenerates over time. But it will still feel quite similar to Portable 2, I think. Because ultimately Portable 2 is kind of based on this. Another thing that's different with PSU compared to PSP 2 is, I can't remember if this was added in Infinity or if it was in PSP 2 base game, but in one of those games you have the ability to just change your line shield, so to change your armor element, just on the palette, basically next to your weapon palette near the bottom. There is an armor palette slot as well, and you could just change it really easily. In this, that isn't there, but you can do it through text commands instead. So you can see on my shortcuts here, I have different shortcuts to change line shield. So if I want to change to fire, I can do that. If I want to change to lightning, I can do that. And if I want to change back to ice, I can do that. That's a good point, actually, Makeju. Yeah, it also lacks the chain system from the portable games. So you don't need to worry about chaining up attacks and then doing like a charge or doing like a fortnite to break the chain or anything. You can literally just attack. Yeah, it's a cool effect, isn't it, Kilny? I've always liked that about PSU as well. Again, something that they kept with the portable games as well, where the line shield element actually shows up on your character's outfit. It's really useful as well, honestly, because it's just like a quick reference, so you can see quickly what element armor you've got equipped. So I know the minute I've got ice element equipped. But yeah, PSP 2 and Infinity are both great games as well. I thoroughly recommend playing both those. I know you said you played PSP 2. I don't know if you played Infinity before, but again, if you haven't played that, I would recommend that as well. That is a very, very good game. Again, though, it's probably more for the solo experience. You can play it with other people, but it's a little bit more awkward to set up. Well, with this, it's literally just a case of downloading the client and set up an account and you can play. I think some people do have some issues with getting this working. I personally didn't have any. I imagine that's like a case-by-case basis, though. Yeah, PSP2 Infinity has held up really well. I've said this quite often, but I do feel personally that PSP2 Infinity is the Phantasy Star game that probably captures the PSO feel the best for me. Because it does feel that once you get to like the end game of Infinity, there is a ton of stuff to hunt, and you can just go and do quests and hunt things, and I feel the end game loop is a lot better than some of the other games. There's some update bug a lot of people get when installing Clem. Had it myself, had to replace a file and repatch if I recall. I didn't realise that. Like I said, for me it worked okay, but I know some people do have problems with the game for sure. Yeah, like Drafia said as well there is also a wiki for the game as well, so if you do have any issues with it, there is a lot of stuff on the wiki to help you out. I think the great thing about PSU as well is it's a very, very easy game to get into at low level. You can more or less just ease yourself into it, and it's a very simple game to get started with. At the late game, obviously, like you've seen, it does get a lot more complicated with the GAS abilities and so on. But early on, it is super, super easy to get into. Oh, is that what it is? DirectX issues. Don't feel like the enemies really get dangerous until S rank. Yeah, probably around there, yeah. It is a very forgiving game early on, I think. The enemies are pretty easy. It's just when you get to the higher end stages, you will get things that will really easily kill you. I mean, I know it looks like we're killing things fairly easily here, but realistically, if one of these things hits me, 1 or 2 hits will kill me probably. The only reason I'm not dying more is because I think Draken's casting Duressa on me, so that kind of regens my health. And the way it works in PSU is kind of weird. It basically buffers your health if your health's full and gives you like extra health to work with, sort of. It's really strange. That is normally how enemies kill you in PSU, yeah. You'll normally get this boxed into a corner, or they'll push you into a corner or something. I mean, what I would say is if you are trying PSU on Clementine for the first time, just be aware that it's not exactly the same as it was on the Sega servers. They have changed some things. I mean, they've even done things on this game, like added their own Fortinarts. I mean, this Fortinart that I'm using, this wasn't in the original game. But it's really cool to being able to add things like that. I think a lot of people did probably skip PSU back in the day, and I think if you're coming into the franchise later, so if you started with something like PSO2 or NGS, PSU kind of isn't an obvious one to pick up or to try playing. I think typically if you're coming in from PSO2 and you're wanting to look at some of the early games, I think most people would just gravitate to PSO and try that. Because obviously, you know, if you came in from PSO2, you probably want to check what PSO1 was like. So PSU kind of gets overlooked, I think, because of that. Maybe because the name's a bit different. Maybe because it just wasn't reviewed as well when it released as well. But I do genuinely think it is worth trying out if you've never played it before. I say, I think for me, PSU was a bit more of an influential game than I think people generally give it credit for. You know, some of the ideas that PSU had went on to be used in PSO2, and PSO2 is probably the most successful game in the franchise. Because as much as I love PSO, it didn't come close to PSO2 in terms of success. You know, the amount of money that PSO2 made in Japan was ridiculous. Yeah, I'm not sure if the other tab is a dead end or not. It does appear that way. I will say though, it has been really fun trying out Ultimate, because I've never been able to do it before really, with the requirement being 190 before. It's been nice to actually finally get to do it. I do feel like it changes up the game enough to be interesting. Oh, that's how we get to the side, okay. I think you might find PSU quite interesting as well as a PSO2 player. Just because I do feel that PSO2 definitely drew things from this game. You know, if you come from PSO, it's not as apparent, I guess. You play PSU, the story mode version where you play as the base character, where I think it was just a demo, so you didn't get to fully enjoy the game when it was out, so it would be nice to experience it in full. Okay. Yeah, I said this a bit earlier on, but the story mode and the single player offline mode in PSU were really not great. I mean, the story is reasonably good. It's not too bad. Obviously, being forced to play as Ethan was not great. But the offline capability of PSU wasn't fantastic, really. I think the game really shined online. So if you never got a chance to try it online, I would definitely give this a shot. There are secret warps in the corners of some of the dead ends in PSU, usually leading to more items. That is good to know. Thanks for that. Going back to PSO is a shock because of its simple gameplay and unforgiving nature. PSO is definitely unforgiving, yeah. I think especially if you're more familiar with the later games like PSO2, if you've never played PSO before, it will feel very archaic. For me, it doesn't bother me because I played the hell out of it back in the day, so I'm used to it. But if you've never experienced PSO before, trying it for the first time, it would probably take quite a bit of adjustment to get used to, I think. So, what do you mean I can't change the camera? Original PSU Portable did have a full story, never played the original though. PSP 1 is pretty good. I think it does kind of feel like a cut down version of PSU Online. it basically feels like PSU Online condensed into an offline portable game with some restrictions. The story for PSP1 though is actually really good. I do feel like the game improved a lot with PSP2 though, personally, in terms of the gameplay. But yeah, story for PSP1's really good. Where's the type change counter? Exactly. Yeah, what do you mean I have to make a new character? Although, I mean, having said that though, I mean, I suppose if you play one of the private servers like, like a Fania, there is tons of quality of life improvements on there now, which do make it feel like a bit more modern. So if you want to use an analog stick to control the camera, you can. I'm still extremely stubborn and refuse to do it. Much like PSO, the online experience is where it's at. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think, PSO is still a really, really good game offline, but it definitely shined online. There's no doubt about that, really. Yeah, in regards to PSO being unforgiven though, I suppose on the flip side, I guess the early difficulties in PSO are really not that difficult, so it does kind of ease you in that way, but it's more like, I think with PSO, it's more like you're fighting against the mechanics of the game. I think a new player will be fighting against the camera, they'll be probably fighting against the lock-on, trying to figure out how to lock on. I imagine a lot of new players will probably try button mashing, particularly if they start with NGS, because NGS doesn't have just attacks. So I think if you start with NGS and then went to PSO, you'd probably be button mashing for your attacks and would get nowhere. I think the best thing I can say about PSO is it's very much of its time, for better and for worse. Even as much as I adore PSO, there are definite issues because it's such an old game. This guy's breaking the rules. He's a light element monster, but he's using lightning attacks. You're not allowed to do that. That's what I've been playing the last 2 days, and this one was PSO baby, leveling a character and feeding him mag, great times. It takes a while, man. Yeah, leveling mags in PSO is quite a slow process. I've always said that is like one thing in PSO I really never liked. I hated leveling mags. So I realise the stream is running a bit over, but we'll finish this quest and then we'll end the stream after that. I think ultimately though, I think regardless of which Phantasy Star you want to go with, I think there is typically an active community for most of the online games. And I don't think you're going to struggle to really get parties with other people, regardless of which version you decide to play. A stream never runs over, it begins and ends precisely when it means to. Exactly. Your internet just randomly crashed. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, I mean, this will be the last run anyways, so... say, I'm sure that the clocks change here in the next couple of weeks, so it might be a bit easy for people to get on potentially. You have like 70-ish hours on a force and you still don't have a max mag. Close but not maxed. Yeah, I mean, it's something you can work on though over time, isn't it? There is a lot of enemies there that are putting things to sleep, so I am not dealing with that. Someone just found a DB shield, which is actually, I found it really funny as a PSO player, because if you found a DB shield in PSO, no one would care. PSO is very equipment reliant for special abilities, and they tend to be rare like Frozen Shooter, so that gets discouraging. I think it's more of an issue for certain classes than others. I feel that Hunter can get away with it a bit more. I mean, you know, you're not wrong. I mean, you know, if you're playing a Ranger in PSO, once you get to Ultimate, Frozen Shooter, Spread Needle, later on you can get things like a Heaven Striker or a S-Rank Needle. There's like certain gear that is almost staple for Rangers, really. And I suppose to an extent with Force as well, because you've got the gear that gives tech boosts. But on the flip side though, that is also part of the charm of PSO, because you know you need this gear, so you go and farm it, so it gives you something to do. So I think there's advantages and disadvantages to the way that PSO does it. It does suck though when something that you need to be useful is really rare. The clocks change at the end of the month. I can never remember when it is, so yeah. I suppose the other way of looking at it with PSO is, because some of the gear has really unique abilities, it gives the gear a bit more personality. Whereas in a game like PSU, I find that, and in the later games as well, I find that a lot of the gear is more or less what I describe as stat sticks, where they just have different stats. There might be some exceptions to that, but you know, particularly when you look at the later games, like I'm going to use NGS as an example. A lot of the weapons in NGS kind of feel the same. They just have different potentials that differ slightly. Hand stick stat sticks. Is that really only block 3? So much for this being a short quest. Working another month away from home, another 4 weeks in Harlow. Thankfully, with the job I have, I don't tend to need to work away from home. And the place I work is really close to my house as well, which helps. Yeah, I don't know if I could do a job where I had to travel all the time. I'm not sure. You like the idea of equipment adding unique properties. FF11 uses that heavily, just that a lot of that became core gameplay in PSU and PSO2 instead. Like ice bullets replacing the frozen shooter. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, PSO2 definitely has some issues like that. The main one I can think of, it's not gear related, it's more class related, is that ranges in PSO2 more or less exist to do weak bullet. And that is about it. Like, if you play a ranger in PSO2, you're kind of expected to just do weak bullet. which I'm not a huge fan of because I think it's a bit overly reductive. But on the flip side, it is the way to play the class because you are just playing a lot worse if you don't do that. And I'm not a huge fan of that really when you're kind of consigned to using one specific strat. I managed to pick up a wired Xbox 360 controller from CX in Harlow last week. I used to use a wired X360 controller a lot. In fact, I think when I played probably when I played PSU actually. I was trying to think if the Xbox 360 was around for PSU, but of course it was because it literally released on Xbox 360 as well. I'm sure I used to use a wired Xbox 360 controller to play PSU. And PSO2 when we did C mode, Pick Ranger and the Orbital Cannon PA was doing work. Yeah, I'd imagine the Xbox 360 controllers are probably actually getting quite hard to find now because they're getting on a bit now. I remember there was a time where there really wasn't many options for PC controllers, and that was kind of the go-to. And now we have 8-bit Zor, exactly. I think for me now, I would just stick with 8-bit Zor controllers. I'm really happy with the one I've got. I will probably just run this controller into the ground and then get another one. Use a DualSense Edge yourself. Is that the DualSense? Is that the PS5 controllers? Because I've never tried one of those. I don't know what they're like. I think we do have a lot of good options for controllers now. It's the Elite control equivalent of PS5. Oh, okay, fair enough. I did consider an Xbox Elite controller at one point, but no, the price did put me off, and I also heard of a few people who had loads of problems with them, so I thought I'm not going to spend a ridiculous amount on a controller for it then to have loads of problems. Stupidly expensive, only went with it over an Elite 2 because apparently the Elite 2 has quality issues. I know there's a streamer that I watch sometimes and he bought, I think it was an Elite 2, and he got it and I think 2 of the face buttons didn't work and the D-pad didn't pick up properly. It was like really intermittent whether the D-pad worked. So he sent it back and they sent him another one that also didn't work. You got Astro Blades U+. Oh, nice one. PS5 controllers are great, though one of mine is developed drift and sadly the normal ones can't adjust dead zones. I'm kind of surprised that you can't adjust the dead zones at all on a PS5 controller. So it's only on the edge ones. Yeah, I bet the haptics are really good. I think that's like one reason I would want to use a PS5 controller for the haptics. My company relocators, I'm actually training my replacements. Oh, okay. So you basically train them up and then are you leaving and going somewhere else? Yeah, one thing I am noticing with these ultimate quests is they seem to be a lot longer. It could just be because the enemies are a lot tankier, but it also feels like the quest is longer. I think what it is, well, actually, I think there's just a lot more spawns as well. Feels like there's more spawns on S to me. I wonder if that's just a thing with PSU then, that maybe the higher the rank, the more spawns there is. I mean, it makes sense. One thing I've always found really weird with the Nano Blast in PSU is that you can't target. So normally you can kind of lock onto an enemy and you'll like strafe around it, but you can't do that in Nano Blast. So you just have to roughly manually aim. Which takes a bit of getting used to. I like that I got put to sleep there, but it let me finish the fort out first. Nice if this guy stops spamming Resta, that'd be cool. Okay, we've finally reached the boss. I didn't realise how long this quest was. It's fine. So I'm pretty sure this is Zolgug, I think. He used a lot of photon charges. It's another dragon. He is extremely fast, like comically fast. He's also very strong. Not more dragons, I know. We have fought other bosses as well that are not dragons, but it has been mostly dragons, to be fair. I'm not really sure how I'm meant to deal with that, but okay. You have another position to go to locally, can't complain, getting paid a big bonus as well as overtime. Oh, fair enough. Oh, congrats on that. Although sadly the taxman will be taking a big chunk of it. It's always the case. So what I've learned about this guy is basically if you get caught by the breath at all, you're just dead. Yeah, I always have to watch how much I get from doing streaming because you're only allowed to earn so much before you pay tax on your earnings from other sources. So basically, if I earn too much from streaming, I have to get taxed on that as well. Thankfully, I am just under the threshold at the minute, so. Would you like to land anytime soon? Thank you. I mean, you don't have to run from one side of the room to the other. Sure, do it again. Why not? It's really funny, isn't it? Like the little steps when he turns around. That looks so good. Incoming huge donation. If it happens, it happens. Yeah, I think it's something like, I think you're allowed to earn up to £1,000 over the course of a tax year before you have to register as like a sole trader. It looks like a cat with the zoomies. It does. It's a very weird cat. I find it funny that you get one huge box. Okay, we got a rare mission, but I'm not doing that on stream because I've already run over. And nothing of interest. The stream continues. No, I do actually need to wrap it up now, so. We've done quite a few rare missions on stream before anyway. Yeah, congrats on the twin blades, yeah. Thank you for the bits, Kilnief. So yeah, we will end that one there for today. So there will be a video on Tuesday, so members will get an NGS video. There'll also be a PSO video for non-members, which was the last week's member video. There'll be a stream on Wednesday, which will be Phantasy Star 2. And then obviously another stream on the Sunday as well. So yeah, if you have enjoyed the stream, as usual, please consider the usual like and subscribe and join as a member. You can follow sub on Twitch. You can follow on Bluesky or X. You can also join the Discord if you want to as well. There is a Discord link, should be under the video player on both platforms. So feel free to join us over there. But yeah, for the meantime, we will end that one there. And I will see you guys on Wednesday for the next stream. So whatever you're doing, have a good week, and I will see you then. See you guys.